As Africa's leading defense news portal, DefenseWeb aims to give you the latest on African defense, the South African National Defense Force, and the defense industry. In this week's edition, Turkey's Katmerciler wins a Kenyan order for 118 Hizir vehicles, Nigeria's Maritime Administration and Safety Agency launches the Deep Blue Maritime Security Project, and the next SADC Mozambique summit is scheduled for the 23rd of June. In SANDF news, a SA Quick Reaction Force readies for a Democratic Republic of Congo deployment. 2022 Military Skills Development applications open. The Military Ombud comes to the rescue for Military Skills Development volunteers. There were fewer than 100 Operation Notlela Military Ombud complaints. Combat readiness is the main priority for new SAAF Chief Mbambo. A military veterans provincial task team is set up. The Department of Military Veterans gets a permanent Director General, and wildlife, bribery and cigarettes are part of the latest Operation Corona successes. In industry news, Denel is facing a liquidation call, and Damen launches new landing ship tank for the Nigerian Navy. In African defense news, Turkey's Katmerciler wins Kenyan order for 118 Hizir vehicles. Kenya's Ministry of Defense has awarded Katmerciler a contract to supply 118 Hizir armored personnel carriers. The company said Kenya will be the third country in the world to acquire Katmerciler's armored vehicles, adding that the firm aims to complete the delivery over 2 years. In January, Kenya Defense Forces spokesperson Colonel Zipporah Kioko told Kenyan publication The Star that the department was finalizing the deal for the vehicles at a cost of around 7.7 billion shillings or $69 million. Nigeria launches Deep Blue Maritime Security Project. President Muhammadu Buhari has officially launched Nigeria's Integrated National Security and Waterways Protection Infrastructure Program, also known as the Deep Blue Project, which aims to combat maritime insecurity in Nigerian waters and the Gulf of Guinea. In a ceremony in Lagos on the 10th of June, Buhari said Deep Blue is being launched to advance the security architecture and ensure greater enforcement action in Nigerian waters and beyond. This assemblage of security assets comes at a critical time when global attention is focused on piracy activity and the new dimensions it has taken in the Gulf of Guinea. I am confident that the project, which provides a robust maritime security architecture, will enhance maritime domain awareness capability and improve law enforcement action, particularly in the prosecution of suspects under the Suppression of Piracy and Other Maritime Offences Act, which was signed into law in June 2019. This flag-off is an important step in the continuing shift in strategic action around regional maritime security, Buhari said, noting that 10 pirates have been prosecuted under the Act. The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NAMASA, has been tasked with running the $195 million Deep Blue project, along with the Nigerian Navy, Police, Department of State Services, and other security agencies. Deep Blue will call on a wide variety of equipment, including 2 special mission vessels, the DB Lagos and DB Abuja, built by Shipyard De Hoop in the Netherlands, 3 AW109 helicopters, 16 Pro Force armored vehicles, 2 Cessna Citation CJ-3 maritime surveillance aircraft, 17 De Haas Mazluas DHM 1050 interceptor boats, 4 Tekavir AR-3 unmanned aerial vehicles, a command control communications, computers and intelligence operations center, and 600 personnel strong maritime security unit. Next, SADC Mozambique summit on the 23rd of June. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa reaffirmed the commitment of the Southern African Development Community SADC to a lasting solution to the conflict to ensure Mozambique is stable, peaceful, and able to develop its economy. He told Parliament on the 10th of June, South Africa is working in established SADC systems to address destabilization of Cabo Delgado province and establish political stability in Mozambique. Ramaphosa did not expand on the SADC Double Triorca technical assessment mission to Cabo Delgado in April, apart from saying it proposed deployments of the SADC standby force in support of the Mozambican Armed Defense Force, officially Armed Forces of the Defense of Mozambique, to combat the threat to terrorism and acts of violence extremism. In SANDF news, SA Quick Reaction Force readies for DR Congo deployment. South Africa's commitment to the UN peacekeeping mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, will be boosted by the addition of a Quick Reaction Force, QRF, that will join the Force Intervention Brigade, FRB, in the strife-torn country in July. A SANDF statement issued by Lieutenant Colonel Setibatso, Block of Joint Operation Headquarters, has that the QRF will work closely with the FRB and the Tactical Intelligence Unit currently in the DRC combating illegal armed groups and protecting vulnerable citizens. She told DefenseWeb units in the QRF cannot be named for security reasons, and it does not replace any South African force or manpower currently predominantly in the Central African country. The 200-strong QRF will be under the command of Lieutenant Colonel M.A. Saki and is, according to a statement, fully equipped to perform their mandate. MSD applications open. There was no Military Skills Development (MSD) intake this year due to widespread issues around preventing and limiting the spread of COVID-19. These have been overcome by the SA National Defence Force to the extent it wants young South Africans to volunteer for military training with the January 2022 report for duty date. This reinforces what Vice Admiral Aseo Kubu, National Defence Force Senior Human Resources Director, told the Portfolio Committee on Defence and Military Veterans in February. Committee members heard there would not be a 2021 intake with the coronavirus pandemic and government's national state of disaster contributing to no public call for volunteers. The next MSD intake is planned for January 2022, followed by January 2024. Applications are open for the 2022 intake with a closing date of 30th of July. Military Ombud to the rescue for MSD volunteers. What can only be termed a complete disregard for set down conditions of service for volunteers who make it through the selection process for military skills development training has been corrected by the Military Ombud. At the heart of complaints brought to retired General Vusi Masondo's office in Centurion is shabby and shoddy treatment apparently dished out to an unnamed number of MSD volunteers that started more than 3 years ago. SA Soldier, the official SANDF monthly publication, reports under the headline "A Happy Ending for SA Army MSD Members" that the sorry saga started in August 2017. This was when an unnamed number of MSD volunteers were selected by the landward force to attend a foreign learning opportunity in Cuba. In their complaint to the Ombud, they indicate they were selected for officer formative training at the Army Gymnasium in Heidelberg, and that's when the trouble started. While training at the gymnasium, the MSD volunteers were informed by their career manager that some of them would not be attending the foreign learning opportunity in Cuba as initially indicated, according to the official SANDF publication. They further alleged in August 2018, 3 SANDF officials informed them they will be offered a 10-year core service system CSS regular force contract. They accepted and signed the contract, but were not given a copy. In November the same year, they met 2 SANDF officials from the SA Army Support Formation who informed them their 10-year SCC contracts will be rescinded on the grounds that there were no posts available for officers' appointment. At that stage, some colleagues had already left for Cuba, and on inquiring as to what is going to happen to those in Cuba, they were told they will be translated to the rank of corporal. The complainants were then instructed to sign up for the reserve force components of the SA Army. As a result, they felt cancellation of their 10-year contracts amounted to unfair termination of service, which falls in the context of conditions of service. They went to the Military Ombud seeking reinstatement of their contracts and full payment of the MSD gratuity due on the 31st of December 2018. The complaint was investigated and it was found the SA Army committed a breach of contract by rescinding the 10-year contract. As a result of the Office of the Military Ombud intervention, Chief of the SA Army reinstated the 10-year core service system contracts entered into with the complainants, and they were fully paid the MSD service bonus, SA Soldier reports. Operation Notlela Military Ombud complaints numbers less than 100. With thousands of soldiers deployed across the length and breadth of South Africa for most of last year, it appears, as always with exceptions, they did as instructed to assist in curtailing the spread of COVID-19 as ordered by the government's National Coronavirus Command Council. The Military Ombud Office received just 56 written complaints regarding unseemly conduct of soldiers while on duty in the 2020/2021 financial year. Included in the low numbers of incidents is the death of Alexandra resident Collins Corsa, allegedly killed by soldiers over the 2020 Easter weekend for apparently drinking in public. A military board of inquiry exonerated soldiers allegedly involved, and Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Ngakula subsequently indicated she was not given correct information about Corsa's death and actions leading to it. The matter is still under police investigation. Complaints lodged with Ombud retired General Vusi Masondo's Eco Park Centurion office include allegations of assault, damage to property, use of excessive force, and what is termed general heavy-handedness by soldiers, according to an Ombud office statement. Combat readiness, the main priority for new SA Air Force Chief Mbambo. Making sure the SA Air Force is combat ready is the main priority for new Chief Lieutenant General Wiseman Mbambo. He made comments to this effect during a parade at Air Force Base Swartkoop on the 4th of June, which saw Mbambo accept command from retired Chief Lieutenant General Fabian Msamang. Mbambo commenced his duties on the 1st of May, taking over from Major General Mfazi Innocent Potelezi, who was acting chief from the 1st of October 2020 following Msamang's retirement. Mbambo said one of his main priorities is improving the SAAF's combat readiness, which is the core business that defines the Air Force. Government wants us to be where we need to be and where we need to ensure we are combat ready for all emergencies such as Mozambique or in this country, he added. No doubt there are many storms that around us, but as eagles we cannot afford to cower down to them. Military Veterans Provincial Task Team set up. Limpopo's military veteran population can look forward to a provincial government task team looking out for them and their best interests. The establishment of a Limpopo provincial government inter-ministerial task team specifically for military veterans was made known by Deputy President David Mabuza. He heads a President Military Veterans Task Team and was in the provincial capital Polokwane to interact with old soldiers and, according to a statement, assess progress achieved by government in addressing the challenges faced by military veterans. The Provincial Veterans Task Team is, as far can be established, the first of its kind nationally. Provincial members of the Executive Committee on this task team represent Treasury, Education, Cooperative Governance, Traditional Affairs, Health, as well as Economic Development, Environment and Tourism. Permanent DG for DMV. The Department of Military Veterans has a permanent Director General after years of its most senior post being occupied by people acting in the position. The announcement of a full-time Director General rated just as a sentence at the end of a statement informing South Africans of decisions taken at the April meeting of President Cyril Ramaphosa's cabinet. As one of two appointments, it read Miss Irene Noma Lungelo Mpolweni as DG at the Department of Military Veterans. Mpolweni assumed duties at the Hatfield Pretoria DMV headquarters, taking over from retired 3-star General Derek Mgwebi. He was acting Director General, replacing Max Ozinski, also an acting appointment. Wildlife, bribery and cigarettes, part of latest Operation Corona successes. Confronting bribery, illicit cigarettes and illegally hunted wildlife was all in a day's work for South African soldiers deployed on Operation Corona border protection duty. The South African Defence Force in the first week of June said a stock theft case was open against 2 suspects after animals were found dead in their vehicle. In a joint operation between Limpopo Customs Kenyan Unit and the SANDF Reaction Force, a suspicious vehicle was stopped on the R572, and while searching the vehicle, another vehicle approached, and when it noticed the uniformed members, it made a U-turn. The members pursued and managed to stop the vehicle. When the vehicle was stopped, 3 passengers, including the driver, jumped out of the vehicle and ran into the bush. Security forces managed to apprehend 2 of the suspects. Upon searching the vehicle, an Impala Ram, valued at 2,480 Rand, an Impala Ewe, valued at 2,070 Rand, and a brown hyena, the rarest species of hyena, valued at 36,466 Rand, were found dead in the vehicle. SAP stock theft was called and a case was opened. The vehicle and animals were handed over to the SA Police. The value of the vehicle was 180,000 Rand, according to the Joint Tactical Headquarters Limpopo. In industry news, Denel facing liquidity call. Under fire, Denel faces another volley, this time in the form of a court application for liquidation of the state-owned defense and technology conglomerate. The application, reported exclusively by Johannesburg-headquartered ENCA, once embattled Denel to be liquidated. Centurion-based SAAF Chief Defense, one of the many companies and enterprises spawned in the execution of the Strategic Defense Procurement Package, reportedly once Denel wound up. ENCA reports the liquidation challenge was spurred by a contract with SAAF Chief Defense to produce fire control computers for the SA Army's long-awaited new Badger infantry fighting vehicle. More than 240 Badgers are supposed to be produced by Denel Land Systems at his Lyttelton factory, with subcontract for components going to, among others, SAAF Chief Defense. Denel launches new LST for the Nigerian Navy. Damen Shipyards has launched a new landing ship tank LST for the Nigerian Navy at Damen Shipyards in Sharjah, United Arab Emirates. When commissioned, it will replace 2 LSTs that were retired over a decade ago. The Nigerian Navy said the new vessel was launched on the 7th of June after nearly 2 years of construction and will bolster the Nigerian Navy's sea lift capability. Specifically, it will enhance the transportation of troops, military hardware, vehicles, and the conduct of military security operations launched from sea, as well as supply of relief material during period of national emergency, the Nigerian Navy said. Thanks for listening to the podcast. For the latest leading and trusted news in defense, aerospace, and maritime security, like and subscribe to our social media channels. We are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to our newsletter and have the latest aerospace, defense, and security developments delivered to your inbox. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week.